What if Polaroid did a campaign shoot with ASICS? This is what we asked ourselves when we saw the marketing material that Polaroid recently shot for their new camera, the Polaroid Go Gen 3. And we wondered how the visuals could lend themselves to ASICS, a brand that's largely synonymous with clean, well-lit, and sharp images. So we decided to put together a spec shoot, which started where all well-planned shoots start, a mood board. I wanted to go for a very specific look in the images, a combination of intentional camera movement and an on-camera flash to freeze the core motion. This would result in a blurry background from the motion with a relatively sharp subject because of the flash. To slow my shutter down enough to achieve this look, I would have to close down my aperture quite a lot. So for most of the shots, it would likely have to be at about f8 or even lower. The next thing we needed was models and locations. Now, being in the lovely city of Cape Town, we were spoiled for choice when it came to places to shoot. But when it came to subjects, however, we reached out to a few people, but only one pulled through for us. And that was none other than ASICS-sponsored athlete, ultra-marathon runner, and trainer, Brendan Lombard, who already had a bunch of ASICS gear that he could bring to the shoot, which was a huge bonus. With that, we headed to our first of 2 locations and started experimenting while sticking as close to the reference shots in our mood board as possible. We asked Brendan to run back and forth a few times so I could get my camera settings dialed in for the look. Then we just went for it, doing jumping shots, running shots, a few product close-ups. To add to the final look, I also decided to bring my Fujifilm SQ6 to shoot some genuine instant film shots. Now, I think they came out pretty good, but we were in a bit of a rush, so I didn't shoot nearly as many as I wanted to. We then moved to our second location, which was in full sun and had more sandy and rocky paths for a bit of a different look. So something I wanted to just touch on is my reason for mounting the flash on the side of the camera like I did in the previous setup. This was to minimize the amount of cast shadows that the flash is creating. Also, so when I hold the camera in a portrait orientation, the flash is above the lens instead of way off to the side here. At this location, because it's much brighter and we don't have as much shadow, it won't matter as much, so I'm just opting for the traditional way of mounting it on top of the camera. We called it a day after about an hour at the second location. I felt like we had what we needed in terms of what we were trying to achieve. When it came to editing the shots, there really wasn't a whole lot to do because the look was primarily achieved in camera. So all I did was push the vibrance, raise the shadows, and drop the highlights a touch just to make sure that everything I wanted to show was clearly visible. The last thing I did was throw the pictures into Canva and add some titles, frames, and logos to replicate the Polaroid campaign. Yes, I shamelessly stole some of the layouts, but I'm no designer, so I just went with what they did. And there you have it, a complete spec campaign shoot from idea to final layout. I hope this inspires you to go out and make something for your favorite brands, even if they don't ask you to. You need to be making the kind of work that you want to be hired for, and that's a big part of why we did this. Make sure to subscribe for more content like this, and go check out our Instagram if you want to see the final designs.